Ag will come out as Johan Zarco looks to continue his form on from earlier. This is the garage, of course, where all of the cameras are and all the filming crew. It's a big, big weekend for Fabio Quartararo. The pressure is on. 52 points ahead with 75 available. He could become world champion here this weekend, although the bad form in the wet weather, Matt, continues for Fabio Quartararo. They have been trying to find a setup in every wet session that we've had so far this season. It's the only Achilles heel. It's the only sort of blot in the copybook for Fabio Quartararo as far as this season goes.
It wasn't a great morning, was it, for both of our world title contenders? Fabio Quartararo way down the rankings in 18th place, and that Yamaha again, particularly on corner exit, looking very nervous. They've had their pretty well documented issues with acceleration and drive grip on the factory Yamaha in rain conditions. And of course, a reminder, Pecco Bagnaia took a very rare tumble late on in this morning session at turn number 8. The good news, he was perfectly okay and finished inside the top 6 as well.
Takes the title to Portimao if he gets 3 points more than Quartararo. Pecco Bagnaia not really facing any pressure here this weekend. He knows the job that he's got to do. A little tumble, as Matt just said, down into turn 8, but nothing too much to worry about. He is the on-form man at the moment. You just saw a moment ago Fabio Quartararo with that bobble hat on, and it's needed as well. It's not just been wet, it's really cold here. Matt Burt's got so many layers on and a bobble hat. He looks like one of the sticky bandits from Home Alone.
I do, yeah. I feel like I'm doing a good impression of the Michelin man here at the moment.
So this is from earlier on then. Pecco Bagnaia heading around turn 16, the number 63. Before that crash, actually, he was challenging for P1. Both he and his teammate Jack Miller very sharp in the early stages of free practice 1 this morning.
Yeah, it was a good morning all round, wasn't it, really, for the Ducati GP21s. Zarco leading the way impressively. Cast your minds back, though, to about 5 weeks ago here in Misano on a rain-affected Friday. Who was quickest in the opening practice session, or in the wet session that day? None other than Johan Zarco. Jorge Martin was excellent as well. He was in the top 4, with Miller third. All 4 Ducati GP21s in the wet this morning found themselves in that top 6.
He's starting to build quite the fan base as well, Pecco Bagnaia, as he grows into MotoGP so well.
Well, I guess the Rossi fans have got to go somewhere in 2022, haven't they? So
well, this is what we mentioned to Valentino yesterday in the press conference, as we see him here. A warm round of applause, as you would expect. Where are they all going to go?
Well, hopefully they still come to watch MotoGP. It's not all about just one man, of course. He has been so influential and pivotal in making MotoGP the amazing show and the amazing sport it is in the modern day. But yeah, it's time for the new generation, some new heroes to emerge as we move forward into 2022.
Yeah, well, there's certainly plenty of candidates to sort of turn your allegiance to for Valentino Rossi fans. I'm sure many will be following his academy riders. Pecco Bagnaia himself might take a few of those, but it is going to be odd not to see this guy around. It must be such a strange feeling coming here to Misano, knowing it's the final time that he'll be racing. Of course, the Petronas team all change for next year. They stay with Yamaha, but they're newly named RNF Racing. Razlan Razali actually was part of an independent team press conference earlier on, just confirming that RNF are the initials of his children. So that sort of ends the guesswork there. There's been all sorts of guesses as to what RNF stood for. Some funny ones there as well.
Yeah, that's kept the media centre amused over a period of time, hasn't it? So Valentino Rossi then FP1 ticked off on his Italian farewell. It will be a arrivederci to MotoGP in Italy for this man on Sunday at the end of the 27-lap race. You just heard in there the circuit announcer calling out Valentino Rossi's name. That's why we got the smile. It's not going to be a relaxed start, shall we say, into retirement, is it, for Valentino Rossi? Team management coming, of course, and fatherhood beckoning as well at some point, with a baby daughter on the way too.
It was announced earlier on as well by Pablo Nieto, although there's no official confirmation here as yet about 2022. It's going to be Luca Marini and Marco Bezzecchi in Valentino Rossi's new MotoGP team for 2022. It's just a matter of pushing the button on social media to announce it, really.
So you're saying my hopes of getting that second ride have gone?
I'm sorry, Matt. Yeah. Try again another time.
Blast.
Here is Johan Zarco then, whose tricky form of late, I'm sure, I was put right this morning. A really solid session. Outstanding job actually this morning. It wasn't just one lap that he put in, it was a series of laps And he wasn't just a little bit quicker than the rest, he was leaps and bounds quicker than everybody else. He was 1.4 seconds quicker than the man in P2. On your screen now, Marc Marquez.
Yeah, good session this morning by Marc Marquez. Drama-free, just as he would have wanted. A 1:43.791, the best work from the dominant runaway winner last time out at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, continuing his incredible run across the Atlantic stateside, the 28-year-old Spaniard. Every time Marc Marquez has finished a race on American soil in MotoGP, he's won in Laguna Seca, in Indianapolis, and in Kota. Of course, the only time he hasn't won on American soil in MotoGP when he's finished, of course, was a couple of years ago when he dumped it while leading by over 3 seconds against Alex Rins in 2019. But a solid start this morning for Marc Marquez. He probably will not have
on an intriguing session, but Johan Zarco, who's been trying to find some form of late, Matt, certainly found some this morning.
Yeah, welcome boost for the Pramac Ducati man. Zarco led the way with a 1:42.374, putting him ahead of Marc Marquez, Jack Miller, Jorge Martin, Morbidelli. Bagnaia had a crash at turn 8, Oliveira. Petrucci ahead of his Italian farewell. He was in the top 10 with world champion Joan Mir. Valentino Rossi, an emotional weekend in store for the Doctor. He was 12th quickest ahead of Ducati wildcard Michele Pirro. Further down, Alex Marquez was an early faller at turn 2. He was 14th. Alex Rins was 16th ahead of the returning Maverick Vinales. Fabio Quartararo, though the big story, can be crowned world champion here on Sunday, but down in 18th place and struggling again on the factory Yamaha in the rain conditions.